Today is the last day for governorship campaigns in Nigeria as candidates around the country are set for the elections this weekend. In Lagos State, the top three parties, which are the All Progressives Congress, APC, that has the incumbent, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, represented by Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, and the Labour Party's Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, will be slugging it out of the top seat in Lagos politics. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss his readiness for Saturday's election as we wrap up with campaigns today is Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, the governorship candidate for Labour Party in Lagos State. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you.
Well, basically, I guess this will be a right of reply session.
Okay.
Because yesterday we had Dr. Olajide Adediran, the candidate of the PDP, on the program, and he had a lot to say about you having been proposed as a deputy governor to him, and he declining, about you not having a chance, and nobody expecting that what happened on February 24 with Labour Party dominating the polls in Lagos in terms of the outcome, that nobody should expect that because the people who voted for Peter Obi on February 25 have since left town, and that you don't even stand a chance in this election. So many other details. I'm sure you probably watched the interview. So he even says you have a case in court, that you are not even a candidate. I guess in that regard, he was referring to the Awamaridi matter, who says he's the authentic candidate of the Labour Party. What do you have to say to all of this?
For me, it's just a lot of propaganda and lies, right? At the High Court, we won. Because we have, in fact, with me, his withdrawal letter. At the appeal court, his case was thrown out. As at today, he has not submitted any case at the Supreme Court, right? So that's matter, and he has even run out of time to submit any case.
Who is that?
Yes. So that case is dead, is done. The Jide, Dr. Jide Adediran, took me to court to say that I had not withdrawn from PDP and all that. The judge threw that out. And legally, we've been focused on actually doing productive things, like getting injunctions to ensure that INEC follows the due process of doing electronic transmission of votes. That INEC does not use MC to move material. So in terms of judiciary, all that is done. There's no issue, there's no controversy. And the legal secretary of the party has come out to say such. My lawyers have also done press conference to address this. In relation to being imposed, it's very unfortunate because all of this I saw coming. And I told the leaders of our party, from when he took list of ad hoc delegates and wrote it, and did a lot of fraudulent things with that. And we told them, I told leaders in the party, as you are doing like this, the first people that are going written out in this party are you. Because someone just came to the party and this is what they did. By doing that, he set himself up to have an advantage, perceived advantage in a primary. But the fact of the matter is this, all the leaders came together and said, listen, this ticket with both of you will be unbeatable, right? And it's not something I was happy about. But a party is about consensus building and moving forward, right? And there was an agreement. Unfortunately, he denies and lies about this, but he will lie about it on air, but go and prostrate and apologize to Chief Bode George and the BOT members, people like Bokna Akerile, Prince Akitoye, PDP. He will go and prostrate there and say he's sorry for offending them. He talks from two sides of his mouth. So the fact of the matter is that there was no such imposition. If he was so confident, he could have insisted from get-go, sir, I have someone else that I'd like to be deputy, and I want us to run. Let us contest. I was denied the opportunity to contest after building structures for over 4 years, after spending so much money on a ticket, right? I was denied the opportunity to contest because he went and told these leaders that I want to work with this person as my deputy, right? Afterwards, the whole process now changed. But the fortunate thing about all of this is this. Everything has worked out the way God destined for it to work out. So I'm not here to complain. It's just important that people don't continue telling lies out of desperation and the position that they find themselves in. And that's why I felt it's important to come and clarify, because there's too much lies going around that we can just be issue-based, focus on what we're going to do for Lagos, and move the conversation forward.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things, because again, just to respond to one other thing he said around godfatherism, he'd made allusions to the fact that perhaps you also have a godfather in terms of someone who is backing you. In fact, the Chief Bode George you just mentioned is backing you, and he doesn't even understand why he would be backing you against his own party's candidate. That was one. So to clarify that, because that's been a big topic of conversation here in Lagos State, do you have a backing of a godfather? Who is your godfather? In the spirit of openness and transparency, let the people of Lagos know this. Then the second aspect of that is just in terms of, do you have a personal relationship with Jandor? People are saying, the electorate, or some people, that your fight is a distraction from the goal. In fact, you're spending more time talking about each other, yet you have a big opponent in the person of the incumbent governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, that this could potentially cost either of you the seat of governorship. What's your take on this?
Okay. So let's talk about the godfather thing. In Labour Party, there is no godfather. I have no godfather. I even had no godfather in PDP. I had mentors, I had leaders, right? It's very ironic because most of the leaders in the party, and I know that Dr. Agbati is familiar with most of these people, you can call and find out. There are rumors of money being embezzled, monies that were sent for rallies that were embezzled, money that was sent for elections that were embezzled, and just tiffs that have happened with the entire structure of the party. The narrative that he brought to get the ticket was that he was bringing half of APC to add to the PDP for us to win. That was the story. All of them have gone back to the APC. So where is the value now? We're back to the original PDP. And it's ironic because he got the ticket because all the leadership, from the national chairman, IU, to the governors, to leaders in the party, to Obasanjo even, all insisted that this was the person that they wanted. So it's very rich that when tables have turned, he's talking about godfatherism, right? So that, for me, that is still just pulling straws. The other question was on
the distraction.
The distraction. So for me, if you notice, I don't give this any attention, really. I've not mentioned his name in interviews in the past 2-3 months. It's just unfortunate that there's so much lies going on. That's intentional, because his strategy is to weaken or to create a perception of a candidacy that is unsure, right? Even though he knows for a fact that this case is dead, but he's bringing it up. So I had to come on air to actually say, there's no such thing. And party has announced this, my legal team has announced this, legal secretary of the party has announced this. There's no such thing. That case is done. I won at High Court, Appeal Court, and there's no case at the Supreme Court.
Okay, so, but I just got something now that shows that there was a case filed at the Supreme Court. It is stated here that it was received by Josiah B. Ejiata, Municipal Executive Officer, Lagos, Court of Appeal, 8 February. A notice of appeal. Take notice that the appellant being dissatisfied with the judgment of Court of Appeal, Lagos Division, Honorable Justice Oyegoche Otasi and Justice Omoro Akibami and Justice Ibrahim Suraju delivered on the 2nd of February, doth hereby appeal to the Supreme Court upon the grounds set out in the paragraph and shall be the hearing of the appeal seeking relief. Okay. I just got this in circulation. What's going to be your reaction? Also, there's also another letter in circulation of when you wrote to apply for the position, of the deputy governor, the deputy governorship candidate on the 19th of July 2022.
Yes. Okay, please, can I see your phone?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, you get a notice from your lawyers that an appeal is going to be made.
Yes.
But then you now have to collate all your documents and submit it. As at today, that has not been done.
Okay.
As at today, there's a time, because elections are on Saturday, you're not going to be hearing electoral matters before, pre-election matters before election. So that's the basis on which I'm saying. And then it's very interesting that you bring this thing out, because I remember when he asked that people that are interested in being deputy governor write a letter of application. I called Chief Bode George, I called Bucknor, I called all the leaders of our party. I said, this was not what was supposed to happen. right? There was an agreement, and for this I withdrew. Right, so why are you asking? They said, just write it, so there are no excuses. So, and if you notice, in my letter, I simply said, I write formally apply for a position of Deputy Governor to flag bearer of our great party. Kindly find attached the following. Endorsement from Ward Chairman's Forum, Lagos Island. Endorsement from 20 local government chairmen. My CV. That's it. I'm not writing stories. Please, this is why I should be like most other people. I simply stated the facts that 20 local government chairmen have endorsed me for this position. The entire ward chairman of Lagos Island have endorsed me for this position. So the party structure is with me for this position. Right? Even though you want to try and create, this was not an application for, no, I came in a position of authority and power because we had already agreed. But you want to turn the script, or fine. And it's unfortunate because it wasted so many people's time. People that are lifelong, that have been members of the party for so many years.
In all of this, have you ever picked up the phone and called Jando and said, what's happening? Can we sit down and talk and squash this?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you because that's a very honest question. I don't see the point. Because if I want to talk to get past something, I must respect you because I believe that there's value in your words. I must respect you because I believe that you have a certain level of honor. Now, if I've heard you say to leaders that this is what I'm going to do, but I've then seen you on TV saying that you never had those conversations with leaders, on what basis am I going to have a conversation that can truly move forward if your words are watery? There's no point to it.
Okay, let's move beyond Jando and the politics between both of you. Let's talk about tomorrow.
Thank you.
Now, the first thing is
Next tomorrow,
Saturday.
I'm
already
already there.
What some people have described as political oro.
Yes.
In Etiosa area, Ekati, Elegushi, and I saw
as well.
And I saw a report saying that it won't affect the elections, and you trying to justify that the elections will start at 8:30 a.m. The Oro will have ended by 5:30 a.m. But concerned citizens are saying this is political Oro.
Yeah.
Now you have mentioned 3 different places. Around election time, that's when these traditional rulers are bringing out Oro. So why are you defending them? That's number one. Number two, the police are saying that the allegation, well, that's what they say, that you were attacked, or some of your supporters were attacked in Ekpe, that they don't have any evidence to that effect. That is fake news. Is it fake news, or was there truly an attack?
Okay.
Those 2 issues.
Okay. So let's start with the political role. I respect our traditional fathers. It's unfortunate that there's a perception that this rights that they are trying to do is moving along with the INEC timetable. And that gives the perception that they're trying to disenfranchise a number of voters, right? And I appeal to our leaders, because before I came in here, I got reports, I got intelligence that Oba Elegushi has either denied that these rights are going to happen, or, it's not clear. It's not clear. I encourage everybody to come out and vote, to not be intimidated or put in fear. And I encourage our traditional leaders to actually be fathers to all. This perception is very negative. And this is why people are pushing, well, I will push for a situation where our royal fathers are not selected by politicians, right? They must be selected by their declarations, and the traditional houses should push the royal fathers forward so that they can always be in a position to say truth to power. That's the first thing. Secondly, the conversation about what happened at Ekpe, we have videos that did. The DPO came afterwards, after those gunshots were fired. So it was not fake news. I was there. Fortunately for me, the state security services did a fantastic job because they had people in Mufti way ahead of us. They had already given intelligence, so my people were riding on a bus. My chief detail took me down immediately. I was down, out of sight, and about 5 minutes later, we had gunshots. There were gunshots fired, right? There were gunshots fired. So there are people that were there that can testify to this. People like Wale Oluwo were there. People like Honorable Najim were there. So it was nothing like fake news. But the DPO eventually came in and was at the junction where we could exit Ekpe, and they gave us cover. But that did happen. And we had 2 buses that their windshields were broken. We had cars that were, there was a lot of aggression, right? So those are realities that cannot be wished away.
All right, thanks for clarifying that. But let's talk about, you said something earlier around you working with INEC to ensure that there'll be an electronic transmission of results on Saturday, amongst other things. What's the update? You didn't give us the updates. How much progress have you made with that? And also, as you just spoke about security, it's another important factor. How confident are you in terms of the security provisions for Saturday, and what is your party and yourself doing to ensure that people come out to exercise their franchise?
So I did not say I'm working with INEC. I said we got an order from the court, a mandamus order. If I didn't pronounce it right, please forgive me. I'm not a lawyer. Okay. So for INEC to follow its procedures, and that is a subsisting order. So if INEC does not transmit votes electronically from the polling unit, they're already in they're in violation of that order. So that's what we've gotten. INEC has come out to say that they will transmit this time, but unfortunately, they've broken our trust. So we're going to go in there hoping for the best, but prepared for the worst. In terms of security, we've made significant security arrangements. So people should not be afraid to come out, especially in places that were attacked previously. Yeah. We have gotten ourselves organized. We're going to resist any form of intimidation or harassment. And that is the word I'm giving to people that are coming out to vote, because there's only so long you can take being bullied. We believed that there was going to be electronic transmission of votes initially. That's why those kind of organization did not happen. Because no matter what you want to do at the World Collation Center, we saw it in Oshun, where Omishore went there. The place was pretty much empty because results had been transmitted. Right? But now we know that that might not be the case, so we are prepared and well organized.
Let me posit 2 scenarios. In a case you win these elections, what will be your reaction? And in a case you lose these elections, what will be your reaction?
In case I win this election, I'll be jubilating and I'll be very happy that, Lagos is free. And it'll also be a very pensive moment where I start to reach out to people to think about how, thanking people, because this has been a labor of love. I'm only here because there are so many people that have supported us, not by money, it's grace of God as well. So there's that, the first 2 days. The question now is, how do I lose? In
case you lose the election?
Yes, so the question is how. If there is violence, intimidation, there's no electronic transmission of votes, I'll go to court. I went to tribunal for my central case, so it's not something that I've not done before. But the idea is, let there be a free and fair election so that people can move on with their lives afterwards.
Okay, what's your response to the ethnic politics being played? It's been said that you are Chinedu. It's been said that you can't even speak Yoruba. It's been said that your mom is Igbo, and that anybody with small drop of non-indigenous blood will not be allowed to be governor of Lagos State. In fairness to the governor of Lagos State, the incumbent, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, he has said people should eschew religious and ethnic bigotry. But that must be some kind of pressure on you, having to explain that your family is 5th generation in Lagos and all that. Are you going to this election overburdened that you have been labeled a Chinedu who should not be allowed near Alausa?
I would have if the governors we've had were from Lagos, but they're not from Lagos, and they're not indigenes of Lagos, and a lot of benefits that Lagos has given to these people, Lagosians and indigenes of Lagos will not get it in their respective states. I'm talking about Oshun, I'm talking about Ogun State, I'm talking about Kwara, I'm talking about even as far as Kogi, in case of Honorable Faleke. So I'm not burdened when people try to bring ethnic bigotry. I think when I started to get worried was the fact that the steward of the state, the governor, chief security officer, declined attending debates 5 times. I started to get worried because it implies that he did not believe that the people were going to put him in position. He believed that the political structure, his godfather, was just going to get him into position. Now he's moving all over Lagos because he's seen the force and the strength of the people, right? Now, I understand that there's this feeling, this propaganda that's really taking heart in Nigeria against the Igbo people. You saw it in Amadu Bello's clip when he was being interviewed, this idea of a takeover, right? But most of these people just want business to work. They want commerce that works. That is it. Nobody's trying to take over anything. Right? And I've said this several times, even on this show. The idea that someone will say Lagos is no man's land is extremely appalling to me. Right? Because there are people that have built the culture and the idea of what Lagos is, the welcoming nature of it, from the Aworis, the Eguns, even before the Oba of Benin sent the current royal family to Lagos. It was already a trading post. There were people, the Tapa people were already here, the Nupe people were already here, and they were mixing, and there was a culture, right? And that culture is a welcoming one, a live and let live one, right? And that's why someone like Macaulay, Azikwe, could have one of his biggest allies in Adinji Adili, right? You cannot question the pedigree of Adinji Adili in Lagos State. But the issue is...
Blue blood.
Yeah, you cannot, but Adinji Adili or his progeny cannot go to Osho and become governor. They cannot go to Ondo and become governor, no matter how long they live there. It's so difficult for even an Ogbomoso man to become governor in Oyo State. So, let us not... Let's not go there.
In Oyo State.
I know. That's what I'm saying. For Akala to have become governor, he was in the civil service for such a long time. For that to be repeated, it will take the grace of God. Right? So, for me, let's not... I know that there's desperation that sets in after that election, and people just tried all sorts of things, but let's keep it issue-based. Lagos deserves more than all of this. And we've lived in harmony for so long. Lagos is a microcosm of Nigeria, really. So, we want Lagos to work, we want Nigeria to work, and that's what the conversation should be about.
Okay, thank you very much, Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, candidate of the Labour Party in the gubernatorial election taking place March 18, Saturday. Thank you very much. We wish you all.